Day 31, our walk with Jesus. We're getting really, really close down to the thick of things. And we're going to read John 13 for today. Um, I don't know if you catch this at all when you're reading through the Gospels, but there's kind of this constant dynamic going on where the disciples want to know who's better. You think about it, I mean, it's human nature, right? We all compare ourselves to other people. I do it all the time. And sometimes it's to our own fault, right? We compare ourselves and we downgrade ourselves because we see other people as greater. And it was no different with the disciples. They constantly were about, okay, Lord, who's the best? Who gets to sit at your right hand up in heaven? Who gets to be your right hand man? That kind of stuff. And they constantly compared themselves to each other. So John 13 starts out with the feast of the Passover. It's what people make the pilgrimage to Jerusalem for. And as they're sitting around the table, as they're eating the meal together, Jesus gets up and he rises from the supper. He lays aside his outer garments, takes a towel, ties it around his waist, pours water in a basin, then began to wash his disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was wrapped around him. Now, who of us would walk into a meeting, with our colleagues and our boss there, and have our boss get up, take off his, sport coat, whatever, get down into some, dirty, grungy clothes, grab a basin, pull off our stinky shoes and socks, and wash our feet? Um, Pretty sure I can count on one hand how many bosses would actually do that. And if anything, it would be more of a practical joke, than real, right? But this is what Jesus does. And he's right now, he is getting his disciples ready. He is getting them ready for what's about to happen, for his death, for the fact that he's not going to be there physically present all the time anymore. And so he sets an example for them. They bicker about who's best, who's the greatest. And Jesus, the greatest, the teacher, the one, the guy right there, gets down on his hands and knees and washes their feet. It's incredible. Verse 14, Jesus says this, then your Lord and teacher has washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. I set you this example, that you should go and do as I have done to you. Truly, truly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is the messenger greater than the one who sent. I love that. The life of a true leader, the life of a follower of Jesus is a life of service. And sometimes people, they get frustrated with me because I'm all about reaching out to people. I mean, that's just how I'm wired, right? I love connecting with our community. And I can be blindsided and miss out on connecting people in our own community, in Renew. And yet I love that what we do is our response to God's incredible grace is to go and serve, have a servant attitude, whether that's the people in our church, whether that's the people in our community, the people in our neighborhoods, the people at work. When our mindset's shifted to be more like Jesus, when we humble ourselves and we get off of whatever pedestal we might have put ourselves up on, and we go and we do the humiliating things for a friend. We go to the things that aren't comfortable for a friend. When we love on people the way Jesus loved on people, then we're following his example. Then we're doing what Jesus calls us to do. And I'll tell you what, the reward is greater than any reward of being some big CEO or big church, pastor. The reward is seeing people loved on in the midst of their struggle, in the midst of their hopelessness, in the midst of whatever they're dealing with. I love that Jesus sets this example for his disciples, and he sets it for you and for me. So read John chapter 13. I hope you're prepped as you're going through this week and thinking about the last moments of Jesus' life. I just really strengthened through the reading of these chapters this week. So blessings, guys.